everybody, it's Mike Young with A Plant-Based Diet. I'm a lifestyle nutritionist, and this is chapter 18 on developing good habits. There will be many chapters to this book, but this is core. This is so key. I mean, I mentioned a lot of things you have to look out for, a lot of things that are going to be working against you, but this one is all positive. It's all you too. You have to do it. You're not just going to develop good habits automatically. And if you don't work on developing good habits, what's going to happen is you're going to say, oh yeah, all that makes sense. I'll go ahead and do that. And it'll never happen. Never. It'll never happen, because the hardest thing to do that anybody can do is just simply change a habit. All right. I'd say you have to practice something for at least a month to be able to say that you have mastered and obtained a new habit and canceled out the old one. So what you're going to have to do with these developing good habits is you're going to have to cancel out your lifetime of training and go on to something new. So there's many ways to do this. There's many resources out there. Gosh, there's lots of personal development, self-development stuff out there on the internet all over the place. Or you can just watch and rewatch all the chapters of this book. That's another way to build good habits, because these are the habits. I mean, some people might tell you how to change your habits, but are they telling you about the habits that are really important, that are going to help you to live like your most fulfilled life, and to be the best version of you, and to live as long as you can, with as much fun as possible, that type of thing? No, probably not. They may not even understand that concept. They may be experts or so-called experts in habit building, but you need to know why. You need to convince yourself like why you're doing something. That is key in being able to develop a new habit and to change a bad habit, is to convince yourself. And that's what this whole book is designed here. This whole V-book is out there to allow you to convince yourself. Like, I have no doubt you're going to convince yourself. If you read this whole book, you're going to have no problem convincing yourself as to why you need to develop good habits, new habits, and you will do it. Okay. So I guess, so if you have a choice to say, well, I only have so many hours in the day, I can either watch all these other videos on how to change and develop and start new habits, or I can watch Mike's videos here on living to 150. I say watch these videos, because the whole concept of this entire V-book is about developing good habits. I could teach you all of the positive, self-healing and optimizing information in the world, and if you're not able to put it into practice by developing good habits, you're going to completely fail. So this dynamic of these two different parts of the habit building and the knowledge convincing are integral into this book. This is what this whole book is about. But the most important takeaway of this chapter is, don't think that you're going to go in there and say, oh yeah, Mike, I hear what Mike says about this oil or the salt. So yeah, I'm convinced now. I won't do that anymore. It doesn't just end like that. You cannot, nobody can do that. I mean, I guess there's that it's not a vegan expression, but cold tofurkey, quit something and then do something. But yes, it is possible. It's also possible to not save any money for retirement and just win the lottery, and then that's how you fund your retirement. I'm an optimist, so I'll give you that, but it's not going to happen. Realistically, that is never going to happen. You can't just have somebody, even if it's me, telling you that you shouldn't do that, what you've been doing your whole life. You just stop that and go ahead and do this now. And you're not just going to do it. So what are you going to do besides watching this book and sheer willpower? Say, I'm not going to eat salt anymore ever again. Well, you got to get yourself in the community. We have a community. Our nonprofit, aPlantBasedDiet.org, has both a page and a group on Facebook. So seek us out there. We've got content all over the internet. Of course, our YouTube channel, which has all kinds of other stuff. It kind of documents what Denise and I do. My wife, Denise, we travel all the time. We go to different restaurants. We always order plant-based foods. We explore different things out in nature and all kinds of other things. So many things on the channel. You can just watch that. But if you want to interact with people, get in the group. Like I said, we have a worldwide group, or if you're in our local areas, even better. We have local groups in the areas that we spend a lot of time in, which is Southwest Florida, which is anywhere from Sarasota down to Naples and in between there. That's our biggest group. Then we've got one in the Ocala, Gainesville area. That's another big one in Florida. We have so many events between those two areas, so many, and so many more new things that you don't even know about coming. So if you're in those areas, get on those groups. Go to our website, aPlantBasedDiet.org, and click on local communities. You'll see these. One of them is vegan.swfl.org. One of them is veganocala.org. These take you straight to our Facebook groups. You got to be on Facebook. We're also getting on other platforms, but they're not that big right now. But I'm sure that there'll be more developing on other platforms as time goes on. But if you're in those areas, take advantage of those resources. Also, we have one in Savannah. We have one in the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill, Wake Forest, Cary area called vegantriangle.org. We have one in the DC area, vegandc.org. Check those all out. These are all areas where we have events, in-person festival events. We have Plants to Table, which is our version of farm to table events in person. These are all annual events that are going on. We have other meetups too. You can find out all about them and meet like-minded people. We also have lifestyle groups. Okay, those are our vegan. Those are our biggest groups. In each of those areas, like you probably noticed the trend, there's vegandc.org. We have one called dclifestyle.org, which focuses specifically on optimizing your health. These are smaller groups. They're made up of a lot of people who are in those local vegan groups, but they're also hyper-focused on optimizing health. So you want to get in those groups as well. You can meet people there. It'll be a great place to just connect with people, or any other resources that you might find. The internet is amazing for connecting with people. Don't ever think that you're out there all alone, because you're not. I mean, I'm 52. When I grew up in the 70s and 80s, if I didn't go see someone and wasn't physically with a friend or calling a friend on their landline from my landline, and I knew exactly where they were, then I couldn't connect with anyone. I was isolated. It's not that way anymore. You almost cannot isolate yourself. So get around with the right people, hang around the right people, and your habits will change. Let me adjust this camera for a little bit. I'm watching nope, there we go. Okay, perfect. There you got a little blooper in with this video. So that's it. It's who you surround yourself with. That's the key. And I have a chapter about that, about, like-minded people, surrounding yourself with the right people, but that's the key to changing your habits. And this whole thing about living your best life is all about habit change, changing and having good habits. So if you have any other suggestions, please let me know in the comments right down below. And tell us what's worked for you, what doesn't work for you. If you have other resources on all this habit change, let us know, because I am not kidding when I say that there's nothing more difficult than changing a habit, even if you have an open mind. And I already did a chapter on open-mindedness. But even if your mind is open, there's still nothing more difficult than changing the course of a lifetime of programming up to that point in time. But that's what's necessary here. We're in such a bad point in society right now where literally almost everybody's sick. I've talked about this, and I'll mention it in other videos here in the book, that like 80% of the healthcare money and problems is due to lifestyle diseases. We need to flip that around. Okay, only 20% are really needed by people because they have no control over them, and we're glad the medical system is there for those people. But we're just in a really sad time right now in society. You think that because we're so advanced now, right? We have all this technology and we have so many choices that we'd be making the right choices in these areas. And of course, the right choices in these areas means you get to have more fun and you get to enjoy life. So why wouldn't you want to do these? But the habits we've been taught up to this point are not conducive to allowing for optimizing in health. So we're going to have to recognize that we're going to have to change all these habits. And like I said, when you go into this, you're going to have to accept the fact that this is going to be one of the most difficult undertakings you will ever have in your entire life, is deprogramming yourself, changing and adopting good habits. It's extremely difficult. It's also extremely possible and doable, but not without this internal mental work that it's going to require to get you out of your program. That's all it is. It's very straightforward, but don't underestimate the amount of work that you're going to have to do inside your own head to be able to do that, even if you're open-minded. Like I said, I'm glad you're open-minded if you are, but that is not enough to change your habit. You have to, it's like when opportunity meets preparation. That's someone's definition, was it Benjamin Franklin, of luck, right? It's not really luck. It's when preparation meets opportunity. And then of course you have to work at it. And then all of a sudden people say you're lucky. You're not lucky. You're just, it's not going to be lucky if you live to 150 either. Okay. There's no way. You're going to have to learn, prepare. And then when the opportunity is there, which is right now, because I'm telling you, I'm going to have so many more chapters in this book, then you're going to go for it. You're going to put in the work and you're going to see the results. And then people will say, oh, you're just lucky, that might work for you. You got better genetics than me or whatever. No, none of that's true. None of it's true unless you have some chromosome defect or something like that. That's the only way you have an excuse as to not being able to do this. I know a lot of people will say that even if they see you doing this actually, and they see that you've obtained some good habits, they'll start to tear you down. They'll start to tell you why you don't need to do that, or you're so extreme, or you're crazy, or oh, I couldn't do that. You could do that, but I can't do that. And that'll all serve to demotivate you because people get jealous, unfortunately. That's part of the reason why you need to hang around the right people, because if you're trying to develop a new habit and the people you're hanging around with don't change, they don't want to grow, they don't want to learn, then they're going to be threatened by the fact that they see you having a new set of good habits. And it's like a passive aggressive thing. They're not going to tell you this in most cases. They're just going to start talking to you in a way that's going to be demotivating to you. And over time it will be, unless you recognize it. So recognize that even if you do everything, that's still going to exist. That's how many levels there are to this. So many different levels of just challenges that you have to overcome to change a habit. Again, this is why habits are so difficult to change. There's nothing more difficult to change than a habit. This is why. It's because it's a social thing, it's a societal thing, it's a culture thing. And of course, the culture is standard American diet. That's the culture. So anytime you're going against that, you're viewed as an outsider, or there's something wrong with you. And all these things serve to demotivate you and to break your resolve so that you are not able to achieve what you're trying to do. But don't let it distract you. Hang around the right people. If you're hanging around with someone, I just want to throw it out there, that doesn't believe in lifelong learning, they're already half dead. So just find somebody new to hang around with. It's too bad. I don't want you to go try to change somebody. I don't think you can change somebody. They'll probably put up a fight. It'll make things worse. But you have to, if someone's doing something that's detrimental, and we're going to get at this in another chapter here very soon, actually about self-abuse, you got to do something, or you're going to be stuck in that bad negative feedback loop as well. And most people are in it. Just, you got to recognize that too. Most people are in this really bad vicious circle right now because of the way society is, the way that culture is. And I am very optimistic that we'll get out of this. But in the meantime, every individual is going to have to put in all this work so we get to a critical mass and an awakening happening, which I do believe is happening. And at that point, the pendulum will swing the other direction and it'll be a lot easier. But until that happens, this is tough work. Just accept it's a lot of work. Okay, nothing worthwhile in life is ever achieved, at least in my experience, without a lot of hard work. If it was so damn easy, even if it's worthwhile, okay, everyone would have already done it by now. They would. That's just the way the world works. So this is worthwhile. I think you know it. You know it's a lot of hard work. And I just want to leave on this note here. You can definitely do it. It's totally doable. It's just a matter of repetition. Just like you've repeated all the steps in your life up to this point. That's how you've gotten into the vicious circle of badness that you've been in, and most people have been in at some point. And some of us escape. Well, you can escape it just by watching this video, watching this V-book, watching the different chapters, sharing them with your friends. Go ahead and post them on your timeline. Let people know that you're into this stuff, okay? That you're not going to sit there and basically be on this downward spiral of suffering as you get old like everybody else. That's totally optional. If you want to do it and that's fun for you, then great. But just let people know, because they don't really hear this from anybody, that that is optional. It's not required. And all you got to do is change your habits. Of course, the most difficult thing you can possibly do, change a habit, but that's all that's required. Change your habits, let people know. And thanks so much for watching. And I hope you have a great, successful day changing habits, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.